My name is Anna. I am 25 years old. I live in a small town in the United States. I work at a local bakery. I bake cookies and bread. I love the smell of warm bread in the morning. I live with my parents. Their names are Carol and Steve. I always believed we were a normal family. My parents were kind. They took care of me. They helped me with school. They took me to the doctor when I was sick. They came to every school event. I never thought something was missing, but deep inside, sometimes I felt different. I don't look much like my parents. My hair is darker. My skin is a little more tan. When I asked about it, my mom always said, "Everyone is special, Anna." I believed her. I didn't ask again. One day at the bakery, an old woman came in. She looked at me and stared for a long time. I said, "Good morning. Can I help you?" She smiled and said, "You look like someone I knew long ago." I smiled back and gave her the cookies she wanted, but her words stayed in my mind all day. That night, I looked at my baby pictures. There were many photos of me as a toddler, but none of me as a newborn. I asked my mom, "Where are my baby pictures, like when I was just born?" She looked at me and said, "Oh, honey, we didn't take many. It was a busy time." It didn't feel like a real answer. I felt a small worry in my heart. I tried to forget it, but it stayed with me. A few weeks later, I was cleaning the attic. I found an old box. It had some books, clothes, and papers. One paper looked old and folded many times. I opened it slowly. It was a birth certificate. The name on it was mine, Anna. But the parents' names were different, not Carol and Steve. I felt my hands shake. I ran downstairs with the paper. "Mom, Dad, what is this?" I asked. My voice was loud. My heart was beating fast. My mom sat down. My dad looked away. She said, "Anna, please sit. We need to tell you something." I sat on the couch. I felt scared. "You are adopted," she said softly. My eyes filled with tears. "What?" I said. "Why didn't you ever tell me?" "We wanted to tell you," my dad said, "but time passed and we didn't know when the right moment was." I stood up. "So everything was a lie?" "No," my mom said quickly. "We love you. You are our daughter in every way." "But you hid the truth," I said. My voice broke. "You didn't trust me with it." My mom's eyes were full of tears. "We were afraid you would feel hurt, afraid you would leave us." I walked to my room. I closed the door. I didn't want to cry in front of them. I sat on my bed and looked at the paper again. The names on it were different. The mother's name was Angela. The father's name was Robert. I had never heard these names before. That night, I could not sleep. I thought about everything, my whole life. I thought I knew who I was. Now, I didn't know anymore. The next morning, my mom knocked on the door. "Anna, can we talk?" I opened the door slowly. She sat next to me. "We adopted you when you were 2 months old," she said. "You came from another state. Your birth mother was very young. She couldn't take care of you. She wanted a better life for you. Did you ever meet her?" I asked. "No," she said. "We only got one letter. She didn't want contact. She said goodbye in that letter." "Do you still have the letter?" I asked. My mom nodded. She got up and came back with a small brown envelope. She handed it to me. I opened it slowly. The paper was thin. The handwriting was small. It said, "Dear new parents, I hope you will love her. She is a sweet baby. I want her to have a safe home. I can't raise her, but I want her to be happy. Please tell her one day that I loved her. Angela." I cried when I read it. The words felt heavy. My birth mother gave me away with love, not because she didn't care, but because she did. My mom held my hand. "We love you, Anna. That will never change." I said, "I know you love me, but I need time. I need to understand who I am." The next few days were hard. I didn't talk much. I still went to work, but my mind was always somewhere else. One evening, I searched online for adoption groups. I wanted to learn more. I found a group for people who were adopted. They shared their stories. Some found their birth parents. Some didn't. But all of them had the same question: who am I? I joined the group. I made a post. I wrote, "Hi, my name is Anna. I just found out I was adopted. I don't know how to feel. I'm scared and confused." Many people replied. They were kind. One woman wrote, "It's okay to feel lost. You're not alone." Another said, "The truth hurts, but it also sets you free." Their words helped me feel less alone. A week later, I decided to look for more information. I asked my parents if they had anything else. My dad gave me a folder with the name of the adoption agency. I searched for it online. It still existed. I wrote them an email. In the email, I said, "Hello, my name is Anna. I was adopted in 1999 through your agency. I want to know more about my birth parents. Please help me." I felt nervous after sending it. I didn't know what to expect. 2 days later, I got a reply. They wrote, "Dear Anna, thank you for writing. We will check your records. Please allow a few days. I told my mom and dad. They were quiet. My mom said, "Whatever you choose to do, we will support you." I thanked them. I knew they were hurting too, but I needed answers. 3 days later, I got another email. It said, "Dear Anna, we found your file. Your birth mother's name was Angela Martin. She lived in Ohio at the time. She gave you up because she was 17 and had no support. We don't have a current address, but we have a last known city." I stared at the screen. My birth mother's name, a real name, a place, Ohio. It felt like a small light in a very dark tunnel. That night, I lay in bed with many thoughts. I was scared, but I also felt something new, hope. Before I go on, I need to know, where are you listening from? Knowing someone hears me, understands me, gives me strength. The next morning, I woke up early. I sat by the window and looked at the sky. It was cloudy, but I didn't mind. My heart felt the same, a little heavy, a little unsure. I thought about the name in the email, Angela Martin. She was my birth mother. She was 17 when she had me. I was only a baby when she let me go. I didn't blame her. She was just a girl. But I had so many questions. What was she like? Did she ever think about me? Was she still in Ohio? I made some tea and sat at the table with my laptop. I typed Angela Martin, Ohio, into the search bar. Many names came up, too many. I didn't know her age or what she looked like. I felt lost again. Then I remembered the adoption letter. Maybe there was more in it. I read it again, slowly. At the bottom, she wrote, "My favorite flower is a sunflower. I hope she grows tall and bright like one." I smiled. It was small, but it was something. She liked sunflowers. That day at work, I wasn't myself. I gave a customer the wrong change. I burned the first batch of cookies. My manager, Mrs. Ross, asked, "Are you okay, Anna?" I gave a small smile. "Just tired," I said. After work, I went to the local library. I looked at old phone books and public records. I found many listings for Angela Martin in Ohio. One name was in a small town called Milford. I wrote it down. At home, I told my parents. My mom looked nervous. "Anna, this could be hard. What if she doesn't want to be found?" "I understand," I said, "but I need to try." My dad said, "We just want you to be safe." "I will be," I said. "I promise." That night, I wrote a letter. I didn't know if she would ever read it, but I needed to try. I wrote, "Dear Angela, my name is Anna. I was born in 1999 and adopted through an agency. I believe you are my birth mother. I found your name through the agency. I hope this letter finds you well. I don't want to cause pain. I just want to know more about who I am. Thank you for giving me life. Love, Anna. I put it in an envelope and wrote the address from the phone book. I mailed it the next morning. Then I waited. Days passed, then a week. No reply. I started to think maybe it was the wrong person, or maybe she didn't want to answer. I tried not to feel sad, but the waiting hurt. One afternoon, a letter came in the mail. It had no return name. The handwriting was neat and simple. My hands shook as I opened it. Dear Anna, yes, I am Angela Martin. I have waited many years to hear from you. I thought about you every day. I didn't know if you would ever find me. I want to talk. Please write again. Love, Angela. I sat down slowly. I read the letter twice. Then I cried. She remembered me. She wanted to talk. I showed the letter to my parents. My mom hugged me. I'm happy for you, she said. My dad put his hand on my shoulder. We're here if you need anything. I wrote Angela again. I told her about my life, about my job, about my love for baking. I asked her questions, what music she liked, what her life was like when she had me. A week later, another letter came. She answered all my questions. She wrote, when I was 17, I lived with my aunt. My parents had passed away. I was scared. When I found out I was pregnant, I felt alone. I didn't have a job. I didn't have money. But when I saw you, I felt love. I knew I couldn't give you the life you deserved, so I let you go. With pain, but also with hope. Reading her words, I cried again. It was like finding a piece of my heart I never knew was missing. We started to write letters every week. I sent her photos of me as a child. She told me about her life. She worked in a bookstore. She liked quiet mornings. She still loved sunflowers. One day she wrote, would you like to meet? My heart jumped. I showed the letter to my parents. Do you think I should go? I asked. My mom said, do what feels right, Anna. I booked a train ticket to Ohio. I didn't want to fly. I needed time to think. On the train, I watched the trees go by. I held Angela's last letter in my hands. I was nervous. What if she didn't like me? What if I didn't feel anything, but I also felt something else? Hope. When I arrived in Milford, the sun was setting. The air was cool. I saw a woman standing near the station. She held a small sunflower in her hand. Our eyes met. She smiled. "Anna," she said. "Yes," I said softly. She walked to me, slowly, carefully. Then she opened her arms. I stepped into her hug. She held me close. "You're here," she whispered. "I'm here," I said. We didn't speak for a moment. We just stood there, hugging, crying. Later, we sat at a small cafe. We drank tea. She looked at me carefully. "You look just like your father," she said. I was quiet. "Can you tell me about him?" She looked down. "His name was Robert. We were young. He left when I was pregnant. I never saw him again." "I see," I said. "I'm sorry," she added. "I wish things had been different." We talked for hours. She told me about her life, her work, her small house. I told her about my bakery, my town, my parents. She smiled when I spoke about Carol and Steve. "They sound like good people," she said. "They are," I said. "They love me." "I'm glad," she said. "I never wanted you to grow up without love." When I got back to my hotel, I sat on the bed and cried again. But this time the tears were warm. They were not from pain. They were from peace. I stayed in Milford for 3 days. Angela showed me her garden. It was full of sunflowers. Before I left, she gave me a small box. "I saved this," she said. Inside was a tiny baby sock, a photo of me as a baby, and a little bracelet with the name Anna. "I never stopped loving you," she said. I hugged her tight. "Thank you for letting me find you," I said. She kissed my forehead. "Thank you for finding me." On the train home, I looked at the sky again. It was blue and soft. I closed my eyes. For the first time, I felt whole. When I returned home, everything felt a little different. The same house, the same street, the same bakery, but I wasn't the same anymore. I knew where I came from now. I had a face to match the name Angela. I had her letters, her smile, her quiet voice in my memory. And most of all, I had peace. My parents were waiting for me at the station. My mom ran to hug me. "You're okay," she said. "How was it?" I smiled. "It was emotional, but I'm glad I went." At home, we sat together in the living room. I showed them pictures of Angela's garden. My mom looked at one photo of Angela and me and said, "She looks kind." "She is," I said. She never stopped thinking about me. My dad sat quietly. Then he said, "Thank you for coming back to us." I looked at him. "You're my parents. That hasn't changed." He smiled, a small smile, but it meant everything. The next morning, I went to work. My friend Mia hugged me. "You've been quiet lately," she said. "You okay?" I nodded. I found out something big, but I'm okay now. I didn't tell everyone the full story. Some things were too personal, but I smiled more. I felt lighter. A few weeks later, I got a small package in the mail. It was from Angela. Inside was a book, a baking book. There was a note. Dear Anna, I saw this in the bookstore. It made me think of you. I hope it brings you joy, like your letters bring to me. Love always, Angela. I smiled. I used one recipe that night and baked her favorite cookies. Sunflower-shaped sugar cookies with lemon. I packed a few and mailed them to her. Soon, I got another letter. She loved them. We started a tradition. Every month, I sent her something sweet. She sent me a letter and a photo of her life. One time, she sent a photo of herself at the beach. She wrote, "First time I've gone in years. I thought of you." I sent her a photo of our bakery's holiday decorations. She said, "You make things beautiful, Anna." One day in spring, Angela called me. Her voice was warm. "Anna," she said, "would you like to meet someone?" "Who?" I asked. "My sister," she said. "Your aunt. Her name is Linda." "I'd love to," I said. So I visited again. This time it felt easier. Linda was tall and funny. She hugged me like she had known me forever. "You look like your mom when she was young," she said. We sat at the table and drank tea. They told me old family stories. They showed me a photo album. I saw pictures of Angela as a child, photos of my grandparents who I had never met. "You have their eyes," Angela said, pointing to a photo of her father. It was strange and beautiful. I felt like I had found pieces of myself. That night, I sat with Angela in her small garden. "Do you regret anything?" I asked. Angela looked at the sky. "I regret not being able to raise you," she said. "But I don't regret giving you a chance at a better life. I was young. I had nothing. But I prayed every night that you'd be safe." I held her hand. "You gave me love in a different way. You gave me safety." She wiped her eyes. "I'm so proud of the woman you've become." "Thank you," I said. "That means everything." When I got home, I felt full, not confused, not sad, whole. My parents were in the kitchen. My mom was making tea. My dad was reading the newspaper. I said, "Can we sit down?" They looked up. "I just want to say thank you," I said, "for everything." My mom looked surprised. "You don't need to thank us." "I do," I said, "because you chose me. You gave me a home. You gave me love." My dad stood and hugged me. "We love you," he said. "We always will." That evening, I baked cookies and wrote in my journal. I wrote, I used to think knowing the truth would break me, but it didn't. It helped me grow. I now have 2 families, 2 homes, 2 kinds of love, and for the first time, I truly know who I am. I went to bed with a full heart. Years later, I opened my own small bakery. I named it Sunflower Sweets. I painted the walls light yellow. I put a photo of me and Angela near the counter, another photo of me and my parents near the window. Sometimes people ask, why sunflowers? I smile and say, because they remind me of someone brave, someone who gave me life, and someone who never stopped loving me. Angela still visits. My parents come too. They've met. It was a little awkward at first. But then Angela looked at Carol and said, thank you for raising her with love. My mom smiled. Thank you for bringing her into this world. And just like that, we found peace. I'm Anna. I was adopted, and I was loved, always.